everyone, welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas, Day 2. It's Justine here, and we're going to be creating this awesome card using the Holiday Bow stamp from the Ton Stamps. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration on how the stamp set actually works, and I'll be giving a stamp set away at the end of the video. So I'm going to show you how it works in the traditional sense, very quickly. So you stamp your first layer of bows. These are the solid images using a generally lighter color. And then you're going to come in and using the guide, you're going to fit the actual bows onto the second layer of the bows. So the stamp set comes with 4 different size bows and 2 layers of each bow. And then you're going to stamp that using a darker color, and you're going to see that effect here. So I use sea glass and island blue to create these, and they are absolutely stunning. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how you would use those in the traditional sense, but as you can see by my card in the beginning of the video, that's not what I did. I'm using 4 colors from Simon Says Stamp: green leaf, green apple, midnight green, and olive. And I'm going to start out by tracing a circle. So you can use a cup for this, a plate. I'm using a circular die to just trace a circle around my card so I know approximately where my bows are going to go in order to form a perfectly circular circle to complete my wreath. So I'm going to go along and do some stamping here and explain what I'm doing as I go. So to get started, I'm using the green leaf ink, and I'm just stamping the first layer of the bow all around the circle, leaving plenty of space in between. It doesn't really matter how much space you leave in between, because what you want to be able to do is stamp one bow in between, and we're going to add some 3D bows later for texture, and that's the reason why I'm stamping 4 extra of these on my scrap piece of paper. It's actually a good idea to stamp 5 or 6 extra if you're copying my card. For the second color, I'm using green apple, and I'm going in and I'm doing the bows in the spaces that are left behind. And you can see they are unevenly spaced, but it won't matter once the card is finished. Next, I'm going in with some midnight green, and I'm stamping the second layer of the bows onto each single one of the bows here that are on the wreath. So I'm just going to put you in fast motion as I do this so you're not sitting here forever, and I'm just stamping the second layer. I didn't always get a perfect lineup, but it doesn't really matter. I found it easier and much quicker to do it with a small block rather than doing it with my MISTI because I have to stamp so many of these. So now I'm just going in and stamping some extra bows on my sheet, and remember you want to stamp 10 to 12 of these on a spare sheet and not 8 like I did because I had to go back in after and stamp a few extra. And now I'm going in with midnight green and olive inks to stamp the darker layer on the second layer there. So as I'm just finishing off stamping those second layers here, you'll see that I'm now completed pretty much my wreath, but I have to go in and die cut them. So I'm using the die cut from the Ton Stamps. These are also really easy to cut out by hand, but I'm going to die cut all of these, and remember you want to do 10 to 12 and not 8. So I'm just going to send those through my die cutting machine, and then they'll all be cut out. To save time, I didn't film that part of it. I'm just attaching these using some 3M 3D foam tape. It's my favorite foam tape because you can rip it off again with your fingers, so it's really easy to actually just rip off small pieces and then attach them to small objects like this instead of having to figure it out with your scissors. So I'm just going around here the wreath, and I'm adding a second layer to add texture to the wreath. That was the point where I realized that I didn't have enough of the bows, so I had to go in and stamp a few more and die cut a few more. So after I had finished laying down all of my bows with the 3D foam tape, I wanted to stamp my sentiment. Now you may want to stamp your sentiment before attaching those 3D bows because maybe your 3D bows or your 3D tape is going to be so thick that your sentiment won't stamp properly, but I had no issue with mine. So I'm just grabbing my MISTI stamp press here, and I'm going to be stamping a sentiment from the Holiday Lyrics stamp set from the Ton as well. Here's a quick look at that stamp set with all the great different fonts and sayings on it that you can pick up from the Ton. And I'm going to be stamping that using Cherry Cobbler ink from Ranger. Now this is the only red ink I've found in so many years that is a true Christmas primary red. And it took me forever to find a red finally that works for me, and I know from being a former consultant and everything how many people are searching for that perfect red, and I can say, ladies, it's finally here. And gents, I should say. I should never rule out that only ladies make cards, because I know there are some men out there that make cards, some really awesome, talented artists. Anyway, I just double stamped that just to give it a little bit extra. And I'm going to be using a piece of olive cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. This is a standard piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11. I cut it on the long side at 5.5 inches, and then I'm scoring it at 4.25 inches. This is going to make a top folding landscape card, which I'm just going to fold in half now and really enforce my crease using my bone folding tool. You can also use the back of a pair of scissors as long as your scissors don't have a color that's going to rub off on your cardstock on the handles. That happens every once in a while. So now I was looking at my card and realized it needed a little extra something. As much as I did like the uniqueness of the way I used the stamp, it still needed some sort of embellishment. So what I did was I grabbed a couple of the enamel dots from Create a Smile stamps, and I added those to the card too so that they look like berries. And then I added some gold foil tape from Close to My Heart to the middle of the card here, using my grid lines to line it up so it became nice and straight. I used the silver tape yesterday on my card from Lawn Fawn, and I really love this foil tape. I think it's really fantastic and just adds that little extra something when you need it. Just needed to rearrange the bows a little bit so that it kind of covered up the ends there, and I could have it so it wasn't going through the middle of the card, but it looked like it was wrapping around. So now I'm just going to simply use my Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, and I'm going to attach my card front to my card base. And as you can see, I have my lights on now. It's already gotten dark. It took me a little while to make this card and come up with the idea, so I apologize for the lack of natural lighting in this video. Anyway, there's a final look at the card. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and that you'll stick around for the giveaway. So we are giving away today the holiday bow stamp from the Ton. They have so graciously donated to me a stamp. So again, same as yesterday, you can win that stamp set by commenting here on my video, and there are several ways to win. So if you click on my blog link, which is the first link in the description below, or in the eye in the corner for mobile users, you'll be taken to my blog and you can see all the other fantastic ways to win that stamp set. If this card inspired you today and you're interested in picking up a couple of these products, you can go ahead and check those out on my supply list, which is on my blog. You can click up at the top there to go directly there. Click on the right to subscribe to my channel, or click on the card you see there to see day 2 of the 12 Days of Christmas from last year. Thanks for watching.